What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy, Prozzie. I'm not going to do that ever again. I figured because I just cleaned my apartment, and I never clean my apartment because I'm a messy person, I would take this chance to show you what it looks like and talk about what other places I've lived in and a horror story about my experiences in China and their living amenities. So without further ado, here's my apartment. So basically, when you come into pretty much any apartment, as you'd expect, you have your front entrance where you keep all your shoes, blah, 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 all fairly, predictable, I guess. And then to your right, you have the bathroom. Now, the good thing about this bathroom is it actually has a shower, which keeps all the water out. Usually, in most Chinese apartments, the shower is totally a part of the rest of the apartment, and that means all your stuff gets wet. Not the case here, which is quite nice. I'm living in kind of like a hotel area that they've converted into apartments, so things are just a little bit nicer, the tiling's better, things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a standard Western bathroom, you know what I mean? You've got all your standard Western stuff, cat shit box, and Western toilet. That's one thing you're probably gonna wanna check if you're coming to China, they have a Western toilet, because a lot of bathrooms here have Chinese squat toilets, and a lot of Western people really have a hard time using those. Moving on, standard, I don't know, this video is really weird because everything's just a standard apartment. It's not actually that different, is the bedroom where all of the sleeping happens, basically. One thing you have to know about beds when you come to China is that they are extremely hard. So what you should do is invest in one of these memory foam things because they're really soft. Most apartments will have something that looks like this, which is like a really thin padding over a box spring, which makes it really, really hard. And I remember when I first came to China, I came with my friend, and they put us up in a hotel first because we didn't have our apartments. And he's like, finally, and takes a big, big jump and goes wham! Right into the hardest bed he's ever felt in his life, and bruised him up pretty good. So definitely invest in a memory foam mattress if you want to have a good night's rest. I didn't have this for the first, year or two, and I got used to sleeping on hard beds. The reason they have hard beds is because Chinese people think that it's good for your back, sleeping on hard surfaces. Next, we've got my living room, where I spend most of my time. Yeah, this apartment came furnished, which was good. Well, kind of furnished. It came with this red couch and this coffee table, which was good. It depends on your contract if they're going to supply you with furniture or not. But yeah, the weird thing about this living room is I have to keep my fridge here just because I don't have any room for it in my kitchen. And I'll show you guys that a little bit later. Living rooms in China are gonna be a little bit different than what you're used to, simply because they're almost always white. That means like the walls are white and you have white tiles. I got a little lucky with this one because they're kind of like a shit light gray, but whatever, it's better than white. And yeah, I find living in Chinese apartments a little bit depressing a lot of the times because, when you're first here, you don't have a lot of art up and you don't have, anything to cover the walls. Most Chinese apartments don't. Chinese people don't usually paint their homes like we do in the West. So they get really dirty, and so you just got like dirt washed walls all the time. It's depressing. It feels like you're in an insane asylum. So I've done my best with the art, got my Star Wars poster that Wing got me for Christmas years ago. Love it. And my totally legitimate, this is the original Van Gogh painting. It's probably worth about a couple million, I'm sure. Actually, my friend painted it for me, and so I hung it up. It's pretty cool. Big misconception about Chinese apartments is that you're gonna be living inside, a box like you'd find in Tokyo, Japan, or something like that. Not usually the case, actually, in China. A lot of apartments here are huge. Last year, I think, I lived with my buddy that I worked with. We lived in a big 3-bedroom apartment together, and it was awesome. It was more space than we knew what to do with. This here is my little command center station where all of the videos that you guys watch are edited right here. It's pretty great. Huge, huge desk, got my laptop. I don't use it anymore. I just use it if I need old files for videos, if I have to bring back some old stuff. Dead plants, Ps4 games. You will be able to get a Ps4 here, but I got mine from Hong Kong. Just because you're not really going to find that many games here in China, just because Chinese people don't usually play Xbox, they don't play Ps4, they only play on the computer. They play a lot of League of Legends and Dota and, I don't know, Counter-Strike, a Chinese version of Counter-Strike. They don't really game. I remember I was in high school and I hated school like my whole life, and one of my uncles, I was talking to him one time and he's like, you know, you better do good in school because there's nothing scarier than opening your fridge and finding nothing in it because you're so poor. And yeah, I've got one beer, some water, an empty plastic bag, and I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest with you. One room I do keep very clean is my kitchen because I love cooking. I cook very often. One different thing about China than the West is that it's actually cheaper to go out and eat or order food in than it is to go to the shops to buy food and cook, simply because you're probably going to come here, you're going to live by yourself, and the amount of food you're going to buy at Walmart or wherever you just happen to go is going to be too much for you to eat, and so you end up spending like 100, 120 RMB. Well, I do because I usually like to buy wine when I cook. Whereas if you go to the shops, if you're eating by yourself, you can spend 10 to 20 RMB. But I love cooking, so I do it anyway. And yeah, it's a decent sized kitchen. Gets the job done. It's where I keep all my plants. I know it's weird. A lot of you guys probably wouldn't think this about me, but I like plants. I don't know anything about plants. I just like having them. I've been trying to grow tomatoes, but it's been about a year, so I think maybe I should give up on that. One of the essential things about living in China is a kettle, simply because that's how most Chinese people get their clean water. You cannot drink tap water inside China. There's too many heavy metals in it, and it's not clean enough, and you will get extremely sick by drinking the tap water. Even if you've been here for years, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't drink tap water in China. Boil it first, or do what I do, go to the shops and you can buy some water. The kitchen is also where I keep my washing machine, just because I have nowhere else to put it. So anyways, that's my apartment. It costs about 1,800 RMB, but when you throw in all the bills, it adds up to about 2,000 RMB. Some annoying things you might find about living in China are the quality of the walls and just the things in it in general. So unlike in the West where you use drywall and insulation and X, Y, and Z, we just have concrete, really shitty, cheap concrete. So there's gonna be a lot of cracks in the walls. Every time you touch the wall, it just falls apart and it sucks. Now, that means with no insulation, whatever temperature it is outside, it's going to be the same temperature as it is inside. That's why a lot of Chinese people in the wintertime will sleep with their full winter gear on. It's also really hard to maintain an internal temperature, so I've got my AC running right now, but with the windows open, because it's floor-to-ceiling windows, it's just leaving the apartment. It's really hard to keep it cool, and it sucks because I live in Guangdong, which is the jungle. It's incredibly hot. The other thing is that you can hear everything. Everything outside you can hear. Your neighbors banging upstairs, you'll be able to hear all of it. It sucks, but you get kind of used to it. It's just, again, it's a lower quality of living. So in true Prozzie fashion, I never really had a lot of luck finding good apartments to live in here in China. My first year I came here with my buddy. We had only been in China for like a few days. We stayed in a hotel in Zhengzhou while they were planning to bring us to Kaifeng where we were gonna live. We get in the car, it's like 10 o'clock at night. It was really late. We were jet lagged, tired, sleepy. We get there. We just wanna set up a little bit of our stuff and go to bed and figure out where we're gonna be living. They bring us to this lobby and I'm like, this looks a lot like a hotel. And they're like, no, it's gonna be your apartment, don't worry. And I'm like, it looks a lot like a hotel. We go upstairs. It's definitely a fucking hotel. Like, single room and a bathroom, like a hotel. And it sucked. It was awful. And that's where we lived for the first year. We made it work, finished my contract, came down here to Huizhou to work for this international school, and guess where they keep all their teachers? Yeah, in a hotel. We decided to rent our own place, and I moved in with my buddy, and it was great. It was the first time I ever actually had like a home. Living in a hotel might not sound that bad to a lot of you, but the problem is it doesn't ever feel like you're living here. It always feels like you're visiting because you just don't have a place to set up your things because you can't really hang anything up because it's a hotel. You can't move furniture around because the place is usually too small. But it wasn't all that bad. It was all right. Anyways, guys, that's my video. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. As always, stay positive, keep your stick on the ice, subscribe, check out my Patreon page, and I'll catch you on the next one. I also have to give a huge shout out to my subscriber Jose, who gifted me his old camera, this Canon 650D, which is what I shot this video on. I basically used this video as a way for me to learn how to use it. That's why some of the shots are kind of popping in and out of focus. Hopefully I can get him on the channel so I can give him a proper thank you. I also hope that this camera will give me the ability to shoot higher quality videos for you guys, and I guess we'll just have to see how all that goes. So again, Jose, thank you. Look for him on the channel, I hope, sometime soon. Stay positive.